Greetings, so this is the video presentation for the paper called Model-Based Real-Time Pause and Sag Estimation of Overhead Power Lines using LiDAR for Drone Inspection. So in this paper we are interested in a technology of using autonomous drone to help with the inspection of power line. So in particular we are working with a drone that can navigate autonomously in the power lines to land on them to conduct some measurement, inspection tests mostly. So in order to do that, there's a lot of technology needed, but in this paper we are discussing one part of this, which is how to estimate the position of the power line from LiDAR measurement when you are navigating in them in order to eventually land on them. So the approach we are presenting is based on having a geometrical model of the whole group of conductor. So we assume that this group share various parameters, and we don't try to individually track independent conductor, which we did before, and it was kind of a hard and a problem. So here the approach is to say, so most of the power line share a pause, so translation and orientation, and also a sag parameter, which is basically the curvature. It's an approximation, but it's good enough. They almost have the same sag. And then what is the difference between various conductor in the array? Just short point, the sag parameter is, we are actually here using the catenary equation with this equation. So the A parameter is what we call the sag parameter. It's related to the curvature. So what differentiates each conductor is in this model is internal offset. So we assume they are only different. The only difference between conductor is one or two translation in this plane. And it's interesting to use parameter this way because on those parameter we have tight bound to search. We know this cannot be 100 meter. We know it's between, depending on the voltage of the power line, between 3 and 6 meter, for instance. So it's the way we have this is the kinematical model that we use, and then we formulate a mathematical program. Basically, we formulate this as optimizing a cost function that is basically the distance between each measurement point and the closest conductor. So we sum those distance, and it's not directly the distance, we'll talk about this, but it's a cost based on those distance. And we also have a regulation term because this is formulated as like a Kalman filter, as a continuous estimation problem. And we solve this program at each new frame of LiDAR data. And we try to minimize the cost of the measurement between the model, and we have some constraint on the parameter. So we use a SQP solver for this, and here it's an example of the iteration of the SQP solver for a single conductor. We see here that first the translation gets updated, and then the sag parameter to fit all the data point. So surprisingly, SQP program are pretty good at solving this type of estimation problem, even though there's outliers in the point cloud. And we also use it in if there's a continuous stream of data. So here we solve it's a different SQP program at each new frame of data. And here we solve it for a group of 5 conductors here. In color, you see the estimation get updated of where the line are, the conductor. And here it's on a real mission data. So you see the convergence is usually a couple of frame maximum, and then it's snapped into place. And then the estimation is not that updated that much for the rest of the video. But what is interesting here is we can see the landing. So you see, so if you see here, when the drone is landing, there's no point from one conductor, but we still estimate it based on the previously estimated offset between the other line. And when the drone is making contact with the line, it generates a lot of electromagnetic interference. So there's a lot of weird noise in the LiDAR measurement, and the estimation is still good during that phase. So yeah. So in order for that to work, we found there's 3 key parts that are necessary to use optimization to solve this estimation. First, you cannot use a standard quadratic cost function for the distance conductor to measurement point. We here use a logarithmic cost function that taper off when the distance is large to minimize the effect of outlier on the overall cost. We also did use a search scheme, basically starting multiple SQP program with various initial guess to find a global maximum, because there's a few local minima in this problem. And then we also use an analytical gradient that we coded to get good speed, convergence speed. So this using a SQP program to solve this, it takes a few milliseconds, so it's good enough for real-time estimation. And in the paper, we also present the sensitivity analysis to outlier. We see how many outliers point can this estimation scheme tolerate. And basically, it depends on a lot of various things, but it's about half the number of points can be outlier, and it's still good. The estimation is still good. So in conclusion, if you can afford to have prior knowledge of a power line configuration, it helps a lot the problem to estimate it. And the approach is surprisingly robust to outliers and is fast enough for real-time estimation. In the future work, we are interested in adding a classification step to automatically identify the power line configuration, because right now in the pipeline it's you need to manually enter the configuration in advance. So thank you.